Lord bless. This is Pastor Harris Kakalides, and
Brother James.
And we're going to do our first interview in McPherson Park. We're going to see the effects, those that have been affected by drugs and their story. And as well, we're going to pray for them, and we know how they feel because we've lived through this life. And we want to know their story so you also can know their story, and you could see what you can do about the situation in McPherson Park and help them as well in any way you could possibly can. We're going to have a brother named Steven. We want to just mention your name, and he's going to be the one passing the mic.
All right, my name is Steven Panici, and I'm the one passing the mic around. And
making sure everything. Yeah. Just speak close to the.
And doing this podcast.
He's being interviewed.
Matt, right?
Yep.
I'm gonna. How did you start it? How did you get affected by drugs? Did it start right away, or was it something that you did before and you just did it once and then you was hooked, or was it a process or what?
It was slow over time. I started drinking, smoking weed probably when I was like 18. I'm 33 now. I had some friends that were into pills like oxys and stuff like that. This was probably when I was 22 years old. So started with that. Maybe doing a little bit of oxys or Vicodin or stuff like that on the weekends or once in a while. Then I think when I was 23, I used a needle for the first time. And
that was how many years ago?
That was about 10 years ago.
So what was the difference between the needle and when you were snorting it? What was the high levels difference?
The level of the high you get from using a needle just blows away anything else. It's pretty much, for most people, my experience, is once you use a needle, you're never gonna get high any other way. Just because the instant rush you feel, at first it's so euphoric. Eventually it is just something you do to get well.
If you could compare it to something, what would you compare it to? Like sex or what?
It's better. It's there's nothing that really compares to it. That's why it takes over our lives. And we put it in front of everything else, but eventually it becomes a means to living.
Is it like a god in many respects? Does it take your place of God?
In a sense. I don't worship heroin, but it runs my life. Like I said, it's before everything. It comes before everything.
Has it affected your relationship with your family?
Absolutely. I'm fortunate. I do have a very loving and supportive family. They still, they're still with me. However, it's when I'm using, they kind of love me and support me from a distance. And anytime I want to get clean or I have gotten clean and I do well, then they're kind of active in my life. But I don't get any my parents learned early on that they can't financially support me or do anything to aid me in my active addiction.
How much do you use a day?
Honestly, it's whatever I can get. On average, I'd say 5 to 7 bags.
And how much would that be?
What do you mean? How
Like
much?
financially, how much that will be?
Oh, that's like $25 to $35. Now, like when when I first came out here, in a few months ago, I had a lot of money. Then I was shooting cocaine too, and then I was going through like over $100 a day because I had it and I could. Like that's what I'm saying. Like whatever is kind of like whatever money is available. Like I'm gonna use it up. Like it's just like there's really no limit.
So you using the drugs now? Is it exciting? Or is it miserable? Like, how do you feel? Like, how do you feel? Like, are you excited? Is it exciting to you, or is it not the way that you thought it would be now?
Kind of like I mentioned earlier, over time it ceases to become fun. Like at first, it might be something you do with your friends and you think of it as like a fun time, you're partying or whatever, but now it's necessary to exist, to function. So it's not really.
Will you recommend this to somebody?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
Absolutely not.
Why not?
Have you thought about it? You ever trying to stop or change or getting the proper help to try to stop, or is the drug too deep in your life that's controlling you from doing that?
Yeah, I've actually, I've gotten clean a number of times. I've kind of been cycling for about, 10 years or so. I go through periods of being clean anywhere from, like a week to the longest I've stayed clean is 11 months. And then I go through periods of using, also usually lasting from like 1 to 6 months.
How much do you use per day?
They just asked me that. I said like about 5 to 7 bags. Just so the drugs have been changing here in Philadelphia. They started. It's no longer heroin.
It's not pure.
It's not what you said. It's not it.
A few years ago, it became fentanyl, which is like man-made and it's less expensive. And now here in Philadelphia, they've also added tranquilizer to the fentanyl.
Is that like the tranquilizers that you use on horses, or
it can be. There's all different. You just don't know. That's the thing. You never know. You don't know what you're getting. And it's had adverse effects. Like some of the tranquilizers have literally like eaten holes into people's flesh. For a while that you were seeing. I mean, and you still see it. Not as common, but people that'll just have these like gaping areas in their flesh where it's just being eaten away as a result of the stuff that they're putting in the drugs.
How true is it that when people Narcan you nowadays, it doesn't even work? I heard. Is that actually true, or is it that the drug is so deep and so strong now that the Narcan really don't do nothing that much no more? I heard.
I don't know I can't say like for a fact, but I'm pretty sure the Narcan does still work for the most part. I mean, there are instances where people need Narcan more than once. There's also instances where it can be too late.
Have you ever?
If somebody's already dead, the Narcan won't necessarily.
Have you experienced an OD?
Have you ever OD?
Yeah.
Overdose?
Probably twice.
When you OD, what did you see?
Take a picture of Vic too, because Vic is
When
part of the host.
When you OD at that moment, What did you see when you OD, when you were out of it? What was your flashbacks running through your head? Did you see your whole life internally just running? Was you scared?
Honestly, I don't really remember anything. It's kind of just like I went blank, and then all of a sudden, like bam, everything comes back, and like
you have ODs too.
And the Narcan does send you into a precipitated withdrawal, which is pretty much one of the worst feelings.
What was your feeling when you was OD'd? Was you like paranoid, scared, nervous?
No, you're not scared because you don't even know what's happening. You mean once you wake up, you're really just focused on how it makes you feel, how the Narcan makes you feel. As I was saying, it sends you into precipitated withdrawal, which is like pretty much like one of the worst things you'll ever feel.
When you get narked, so you have a bad feeling, or what does it feel?
It's
what
very
does it feel like?
just like your skin's crawling, you're sweating, like sometimes you're
Fade
throwing up. Not necessarily you're fading away.
It doesn't just take away your high, but it makes you feel certain ways.
Well, so precipitated withdrawal is essentially like, so if you were to go through withdrawal, like normally, it would go over a period of days. Precipitated withdrawal, it like compacts it all into
one moment.
Like not one moment, but a much shorter period of usually like a few hours, and it's just like this hellish period that like there's really nothing that can you just have to go through it.
How long you been out here?
I already asked that question.
No, you haven't.
Right?
No.
How long you been in McPherson?
McPherson, the park.
Okay.
Yeah.
Out here in Philly, the park itself.
So, like this year, I've been here for about 3 months. Last year I came out here in May. It was the first time I'd ever come here. I stayed from like May until November, and this year I got here in early March.
Where you originally from?
I'm from the suburbs of Harrisburg, Mechanicsburg,
From the bird.
Camp Hill, out there. Yeah.
There's a difference out there, right, than here?
Let me just ask, just 1 second. I want to ask you, where are you from, brother?
I'm from Clifton Heights.
Clifton
It's,
Heights?
Delaware County.
Delaware County? Okay, so you're not that far from me.
No, not far.
But he's from far.
He's 45 minutes away. He's like maybe an hour and a half, maybe, right?
Yeah, Harrisburg is hour and a half, 2 hours
I
at least
can
with
go
traffic.
home in probably 25 minutes.
Train ride's an hour 45.
Have you ever thought about changing and rotating your life around and trying to get completely sober instead of just halfway for a week? What's the transformation you have been trying to do with yourself? What do you want to better in and transform your life?
I mean, I don't want this life. It's a lot easier said than done. Like when you get so like addiction is always with you. Like, when you get clean, doesn't matter how long you've been clean for. It can, you know what I mean? It's like a battle every day. Over time it may get easier, but like, I can start using again for any reason. Things don't have to be bad. They don't have to be good.
You just find an excuse.
Your brain can rationalize it in any way. It could be because you want to celebrate, or because like things are going wrong, or it could be anything.
Any reason.
Right? Yeah. So it's like.
So you're not your typical addict. Once you use, your life just becomes a disaster, unmanageable. Like you're not able to do the things that normal people do. Like, do you have functional addicts? Are you one of those type of people that can? Obviously not, because
no. Well, because now when I use, I come here. Like now that I've been to Kensington, like if I'm using, I'm coming here, and like, you know what I mean? So whatever I was doing is out the window. And the reason I come here is because you can use you're allowed to use here. You can openly use. You can use it in front of people and not be arrested for it. I mean, it's changing a little bit, but you can't do that anywhere else. I was getting arrested all the time in Harrisburg just for being high, simply.
And here there's no laws.
No.
How do you maintain your drug habit? How do you get the drug?
How do I just
Shoplift, what?
I sell works and I collect samples. I find odd jobs. Sell food stamps. I don't really do anything illegal. That's
Does it come
not my thing. I don't shoplift.
Does it come to a point that you don't want food or drink? You just want the drug?
Well, yeah. I mean, the drug almost always comes first.
So if you don't have the drug, you don't want the food, you don't want the drink. You just want the drug.
I mean, you still want those things. I always need water. I don't know. I've always had a weird thing about water. I always have to stay hydrated. But there's a lot of times that I'll be hungry because I'll spend my money on drugs over food. There's a lot of help here for addicts. And there's a lot of people do come in and feed us and provide us with.
But it's kind of funny that when it comes to the churches, when they feed you guys, we could get kicked out. But when it comes to drug dealers, they'll leave the drug dealers around, but they'll kick out the church or they'll fine us.
It's because you guys are really enabling us to stay here and just continue to use.
They want you guys like this.
No, they don't want us like this, but you guys coming here and feeding us every single day is making us more content to be here and homeless instead of us being starving out here and having just drugs and the stores not allowing us to get food. And if we go and shoplift for food, we will go to jail. We will go to jail instead of you guys coming and giving us food and we're allowed to eat. Now we're not hungry and we can sleep with a full stomach every night.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
we help you guys with the full stomach.
Yeah. So
why can they find you? I didn't know they could.
Sometimes they find certain people. They find a church that was recently feeding you guys.
Oh yeah.
They got fined, and I got to feed you guys on one occasion, and they told us that we had to leave, and we ended up going to Allegheny and Kensington, and we was able to do it there, but they didn't allow us to be here that day.
I realized we're not allowed to be here at all, basically no more. They put a sign in front of the park. Anybody that scores a $300 fine, and you gotta have permits here now. So it's a lot of things.
Well, we still do it anyway. Yeah, because we don't care what the law is corrupt here. The government's corrupt.
So something was interesting. You said that if people wouldn't come down here and feed the addicts, right?
Right.
They will be more likely to get into treatment?
I don't know in the treatment, but they would be more likely to go and steal from a store and get arrested and be not on the street. I would think.
Okay.
$3 for helping everybody.
Cool, man. Appreciate it. Now I get high.
Yeah, I have
Don't
two.
use it for that.
I literally have
Yeah, for something.
$2 in my
Enabling.
pocket, so that's what I needed also.
Oh yeah.
Nah, stop. Scratch that.
Well, you know what?
Scratch it because I'm a pastor.
Overall, we love you guys.
But thanks for being honest, though.
And no, that's what it's all about, man. You know, I've been there. I've done that. And by the grace of God, I'm on my 2 feet.
Now, you guys just want to come out here and help us. You're not knowing really that
Play
you're
close to you
enabling.
so they
You
can-
don't really know you're enabling. You are helping us. You know, it's not that we want to stay out here,
I
but
know, but you guys need something. You guys need clothing. You guys
yeah,
need food.
exactly. Fucking be out here dirty as shit, looking horrible. You know, but whatever.
I've been there, man. I mean, bad shit happens here all the time. I mean, we could talk forever about all the things that go on here.
What
Like,
was the last incident you seen here yourself, eye to eye?
What was the craziest thing you've seen?
Last night, what was that? In the morning, I seen a shooting right there on Lippincott.
I saw a girl getting beat up by a guy on the street earlier today. Like, you know, and people just look on. Like, no one helps.
How many people have you seen died? Literally,
Did that person just die over there? Like, for real, I
It's
did.
not funny, but
It's not.
It's not funny.
I've seen it. My church was like a block away.
I've seen a number of people OD. I've seen people shot dead. A month ago, I was ran over by a car intentionally.
Yeah, they don't care.
They literally said, like, that'll teach you addicts to stay away from the street after they ran me over. Fortunately, I was okay.
I seen this morning a dude got woken up with a PVC pipe getting hit to his shins and then smacked in his face with the PVC pipe. It's crazy, yeah, for him stealing. Which I don't really think. I mean, I don't know if he deserved it or not, but he shouldn't be stealing. You know, we lose our shit every day. Like I feel like people prey on me here until I fall asleep to take my shit, even though I don't have anything already.
Do you feel like you have to constantly be watching your back? Like,
Always.
Yeah, every second of the day. Every second of the day.
there's no respect for your property. Even if it's a book bag, they won't respect it.
They'll steal stuff that they don't need. You know what I mean? Like, maybe they want one thing. Like, they might keep 10% of what they steal from you, and they'll just throw everything else out. They don't care. Like, or they don't even know what they're stealing. They'll steal your backpack, they'll look through it, and they won't want anything. Like, you know what I mean? Like he said, that he'll have nothing already, and they'll steal it from him. It happens all the time. It's crazy.
It's insane. Literally insane.
Anything you guys want to add before we finish? You want to say anything?
Just, like you guys asked me earlier, I don't wish this life upon anyone. I always tell people if they haven't used a needle, if they do drugs and they haven't, like, tried shooting up yet, like, don't do it.
So if you could go back into the future, you won't do it?
That is the changing moment in my life, when I picked up the needle. That's when I really lost control.
But what was the drug that you first started with?
Hold on, let me say something on that, because
Say something.
you said that would I go back
If you could
and
go
change if I used the needle? Honestly, I would not change anything that has happened with me, because it made the person who I am today. So I love that car. And the person who I am today, I met a lot of great people, and I wouldn't change that for the world. I don't care if I'm the biggest junkie in the world. I wouldn't change that.
Any last words among you guys? Okay. So we're gonna end. You want to say something?
Nope. Podcast over.
Podcast
the first one.
Yeah.